What is going on, everyone? Chris with Journals, Comics, and Pop Culture. Today, we are diving deeper into the discussion of the recent price increases from CBCS, and we're going to be talking about both the CBCS and CGC, but we're going to be asking the question, are the most recent price changes from CBCS ethical? Yeah, you guys might be like, Chris, what are you talking about? It's a business. They can charge whatever they want for their product and service, etc. But we are going to get into the deep, thick, and nitty gritty of why I am posing this question today. If you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, please take some time to do so. Check out all the links in the description below, including the link to today's sponsor, popculturezone.com. If you guys haven't checked out popculturezone.com yet, please take some time to do so. They are your online shop for graded keys and slabs, incentive variants, and so much more. Stick around to the end of the video, for we're going to be showing you a 60-second clip for you to learn more about popculturezone.com. But folks, let's get into the discussion. So just to preface and revisit, I did a video on it a little over a week ago. CBCS increased their prices again, and this was specific to their express tier, which is their expedited, like a fast track tier. They first did this about 2 months ago, where they even split like their modern tier, and I'm not going to get into the details of all that, and we're not here today to actually break down the numbers. I probably am still going to do another video doing that and actually comparing the numbers side by side from the benefits, the pros and the cons from CBCS and CGC. But this is just more of a general questioning or argument of what are these prices meant to do, and are they crossing an ethical line? So the last two price increases have consist of an express tier that CBCS offers that is now a guaranteed fast-tracked turnaround time. They're saying, we're going to guarantee your books back. I do believe it's 10 days, but don't quote me on that because I don't have all the numbers here. But we're going to guarantee your books back in X amount of time or your money back. Now, that's pretty bold, right? As we know, both CGC and CBCS over the last couple of years, the demand has been hit hard for both companies, which is ultimately a good thing, right? More business. But we've seen that both companies have had a hard time struggling to manage the increase in demand. It's backed up wait times for many people up and over a year. So even fast track times have been very, very long and extended over the past couple of years as well. So these issues first started coming out with CGC. You know, obviously CGC being the top dog on the market, or how it is perceived on the market. All of these issues came out with a lot of concerns with CGC, and then CGC raising their prices first last year, right, for the first time, and then they did it again however many months later, and people are getting furious saying, you know, we're waiting longer and longer for our books, quality control is going down, and you guys are raising your prices. But CGC is saying, look, we're gonna hire more people, we're gonna open a new facility, we promise we're gonna get this stuff taken care of. They get this merger happening with Blackstone, et cetera. It took a while for things to kind of take notice, any type of change, but I have at least with the fast track tier, I have been seeing faster turnaround times with CGC. Go over to CBCS, same things start happening, and more people are saying, oh, the same thing's happening with CBCS. Long wait times, turnaround times are crazy. It's madness. So now, not only has CBCS increased their prices of all their tiers and changed some things around, they sat, their executives probably sat down at the table and said, how can we combat this? We saw what CGC did to combat it. They made a lot of public statements saying, this is what we're going to promise you. This merger with Blackstone, this is what you are going to get as a consumer in the near future because of these things, because of this merger, because of these price increases. CBCS sat down and said, well, what can we do to reassure our customers? And they didn't really do the same thing. They did something very unique and to some extent almost revolutionary, at least to the grading industry. And what is that? Well, It's the idea of the fast tracked or money back. It's the guaranteed turnaround time. Now, you might look at that and be like, again, that's absolutely brilliant, because what are some things that we as consumers demand when sending our books in? Well, we want high grades, right? We want the aesthetics. We want good cases, good labels. We want to trust the grading. We want the secondary market value, and that's why a lot of people continue to go to CGC, because it's perceived that they're going to give you that secondary market value. You know, if you sell a 9.8 CBCS to sell a 9.8 CGC of the same book, then it's perceived that CGC book is going to gain you more value. So that's why I want to send it to CGC, send my books to CGC. But turnaround time is another thing. We know that in this day and age, culturally, it's not just comic books. I talked about this all the time. We are gimme, 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 want, now, me type of culture. And it shows in comic books with FOMO, fear of missing out. I've talked about this with the FOMO, when things get hot or when it's spec announced and it pairs with the book, and then how people fight over these books, and you can see a dollar bin book shooting up to $40, $50 book. But then once everyone's done, flipping out over it and having all these feelings and emotions of me, gimme, I need, then down goes the price again. We get the same way when it comes to our comic books that we're sending in to get graded. We want them back. Now, don't get me wrong. Waiting like a year is crazy. And I'm not, like, the times that I've sent my books into CGC, I waited anywhere from 6 to 9 months, I think. 9 months probably the max. And it's tough, wait. But I personally don't see turnaround time as this huge issue, unless you're sending something in that you think is going to have spec value and you don't want to miss out on that spec value, right? So there's other reasons why people value turnaround time. Now, again, there's always been the fast track service, right? Pay a little bit more money, and we can't guarantee you when you're going to get it back, but we guarantee you that it's going to be quicker than if you don't pay the extra. It was $5 with CGC. Now it's $15, and I don't remember what it was with CBCS before all these changes, but they both offered that. What CBCS is doing, though, is they are streamlining a service. They're streamlining a service. So again, any business goes into business, and they have to understand what's your market, what's your niche, right? Well, your main goal is to make money, but you got to find your niche market. Who are you selling your product or your service to? So let's take a couple examples. Walmart. Walmart is the value market. You know that they have cheap crap. It's cheapy stuff, but it provides value, and people like the low dollar point. So Walmart uses that market to be able to gauge their cost of goods and services and what they want to supply to their consumers and how they can maximize their revenue from that. Nordstrom's, though, is completely different. You go to Walmart, you buy clothes, you wear them once or twice, and they're like shrunk and deformed and they're worn out. They're throwaway items. Nordstrom sells quality, high end. People are willing to pay more for anything that they buy from Nordstrom's because they know that it's going to be high end product. So when you're a grading company, you got to ask yourself, well, what's my market? Well, you guys could say it's probably pretty black and white or straightforward. Grading service, but there's aesthetics, right? There is a product. I want a good slab. I want good labels. But then there's also the service side of it. The service side of it is trusting the grade, but then it's also turnaround time. That's part of a service. So CBCS, and we're getting to the question here, guys. We're getting to the question, how is this unethical? CBCS says, we're not just going to sell a product. We're not just going to sell a grade. We're going to sell a service of time. CBCS is trying to monopolize off of time. And I do believe when they first announced, I believe their express was $40. Anybody correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Their express was $40, and a couple months ago they changed it to $60 when they started initiating this amount of time or your money back. And then just last week they announced we're going to raise it $20 more. Now, the amount they're raising it is in and of itself questionable. That's a huge increase. But that's almost besides the point here. Now we're paying $80. $80 to guarantee you get the same product, right? You get the same product, but you're getting it back faster. Time. And they're charging you a premium for your time. So you look at this and you say, well, Chris, again, how is this? Why are we asking if this is ethical or not? Well, let me pose that question now and bring up some scenarios. And I love using this scenario. And I've used it before and I'm going to use it again. I was already concerned with grading companies offering a fast-tracked service. And I'm going to explain why. If you guys ever go into a Starbucks or, any company now like Chipotle or anything like this, where they have mobile orders, right? And anybody could go, you go into the restaurant and usually they have like at their counter or bar area, they have a little sign, mobile order pickup. Imagine if places like Starbucks charged a premium for your mobile ordering because it's in and out. It's an in and out service. Imagine that a grande latte cost $4, right? But to do the, mobile order pickup in and out, fast tracked, imagine you pay a premium. You pay $5, right? So you pay $1 extra. You can order it on your phone. You can avoid the lines. You go in and you pick it up, already down at the bar, and you avoid the line, you get it, and you're done and you're out. Boom, 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 right? Now imagine the manager of that Starbucks caring only about profits and revenue and having a line out to the door of people that just, it's a Monday morning. Everyone's lining up to get their morning coffee and tea, etc., whatever. And you got a line to the door, right? And you got, a couple people on register and you got a couple people on bar. And then you have somebody on a separate bar that's doing just the mobile orders, the expedited orders that they pay a premium. But you get all of these mobile orders coming in paying premiums, right? And the manager looks at all of your employees working the line for the people that are in the store in line and say, hey guys, we got a whole bunch of mobile orders coming in and we make more money off of those orders. I'm going to need you all to go and help so-and-so over here and focus on the mobile orders. Folks standing in line, guys, I know you already been here for, 10, 15, 20 minutes, but you're going to have to wait longer. I can't guarantee you when we're going to be able to get to you, but you're just going to have to wait. And then they go over and they prioritize all the mobile orders because it's more revenue. They can make more money off of them. So, I already had issues with, and we don't know the inside of CGC and CBCS. So, unless CGC and CBCS has a dedicated workforce that they hire and train specifically to work the standard orders, and then they have a different staff that works a specific amount of hours that works the fast track orders, right? How do we know they're not pulling people from the standard orders because they want to get to these fast track ones because they know they got to get them out faster? It's questionable already, right? Well, now CBCS is guaranteeing turnaround time. Well, one thing the CGC can't know or guarantee or predict is how many orders they're going to get in, whether it's for fast track or the express or standard orders. What if people hop on this, even though it's $80, and maybe that's why they raise the price again, because they're thinking, man, we can't keep up to it. Let's try to find a market equilibrium. I don't know. What if they get too many orders coming in for their express service with this 10-day guaranteed turnaround time? And they are so behind because they got orders and orders still of regular orders coming in. And they're so behind on both, but they know they got to get these orders out or they're going to have to pay them their money back because it's guaranteed. And they say, guys, folks, stop working on the standard orders. I need you to work on these orders over here. That to me is it's problematic because it alienates a large portion of your consumer base. And you know what it does though, and this is the biggest key takeaway of this video today in the question of ethics. They can pigeonhole you. They can control not the market, but the supply and demand moving in and out of their company. They can control the turnaround time of standard orders and kind of manipulate or force people to look at their timed, service of guaranteed time, their guaranteed turnaround time, where you have to pay what? 4 times almost the amount to get the same service and get your books back sooner. To me, it's playing, first off, I don't think it's a good business model because quite honestly, I feel like it's playing on the FOMO. It's playing on this addictive nature that we have in this day and age that we culturally accept. I mean, we get it using social media. We want hearts and likes and this gratification that turns on the endorphins and the serotonin in our brain, right? And that's what we get from this now, me, I can't wait, I need it now type of mentality. And it's accepted. It's a socio-cultural programming that is culturally accepted. And I think it feeds into that. But it's also almost, in my humble opinion, a conflict of interest because they control the power on the back end of how they get these books out and how they maneuver through all the books coming through the door. Because there is such a high demand, how many people do you think are going to stop sending books in to get graded because of turnaround time? Well, guess what? They've already had, CBCS and CGC have already had 2 years to gauge that, to gauge the market. People aren't going to stop. People will complain. People will complain over and over again about turnaround times, but they'll keep sending their books in. So why not put everything to the back burner and say, you know what? These guys, these guineas, yeah, we're going to double the price. We're going to increase it by, 50% and then by 100%, because it went from 40 to 60 to 80. And watch, we're going to just take the money right out of their hands because we're feeding into their FOMO. They need it right now. And the people that aren't willing to pay the $80, they're still going to pay the $20-something to wait a year to get their books because people that want graded comics are still going to want graded comics, and they've had 2 years to gauge that. CBCS, so wait time should have never been an issue. Turnaround time was never an issue until they realized we have a growing demand that we can't meet. And again, this is both for CBCS and CGC, obviously. And CGC looked at it and said, how do we combat this? And we're going to raise some prices, but we're going to bring in more staff. We're going to do all these things to combat wait time, but still incentivize a fast track where you could pay a little more. And this is the huge question of ethics. What they are doing is incentivizing this 1 year plus extremely long wait time. So instead of fixing the issue and keeping the same business model and saying that we might raise some prices and hire more people and hire more staff and continue to evolve to where we can grow and manage supply and demand. We can meet demand with the proper supply. Instead of doing that, they create a way to make more money off of the fact that they don't have a handle on things. So again, instead of saying, let's fix this, they say, well, let's just keep wait time the way it is, but let's charge people 4 times the amount that we were charging them and guarantee them a turnaround time. And they're realizing they can make money off of this, feeding into people's FOMO and needing it now. And that's the huge question of ethics. Now, can this bite CBCS? Because you got to understand that however they're gauging this, it's new, and they may be thinking that it's going to have this type of effect. But we already see, the majority of people already see CGC as the industry leader. And if you look at the numbers, I mean, CBCS is still cheaper depending on some tiers and the value of the book. But CGC is cheaper in some areas as well. And then you already have people paying more for CGC just because they value CGC over CBCS. So this might not even work out for CBCS because simply people are going to see the price increases and continue to be turned off by the company that they already viewed as second best. But all they need is enough people to buy into it to make it work. And what is that number? Well, what is enough people? Well, it's not necessarily a specific number, but all they need to do is look at their quarterly earnings. If they can do this, right, and their quarterly earnings continue to grow over prior quarters, then they're winning. Then they're winning, and their changes and their new revolutionary business model is working in their favor. So I will end on this note, folks. I am all for the free market, and if it's really a free market, well, that's a whole other conversation. I'm a businessman, and I will never knock a business for wanting to maximize revenue and maximize profit. If you're not running a business to maximize profit, what are you running a business for, right? But I will still pose this question, guys, and I'm not sitting here pointing a finger at CBCS saying they are being unethical, but I do believe questioning it is valid. It is a valid question and a valid argument to sit and say, guys, I don't know if this sits well, because there's too much power. There's too much power in how they control, not necessarily the market, but the industry, that they come into the industry and get pushed back out to the consumer or the seller or the flipper to put back out on the market. It is valid to question these things, folks. I don't know. I want to hear your guys' thoughts, though, in the comments below. And again, make sure you understand my argument before you start commenting, because I'm merely playing devil's advocate here. I'm questioning. I'm not really standing on one side of the argument or another. I'm not saying they are unethical or not, but I'm saying it's a valid concern to have. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Again, if you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, please take time to do so. I'm here making content almost every single day of the week. And again, big shout out to popculturezone.com. And right now we're going to go into the popculturezone.com clip it. Make sure you guys click that link below as well. Popculturezone.com is an online shop focusing on hot new comics, including exclusive and incentive variants, CGC graded comics, and tons of other inventory, including pop culture toys and other collectibles, all at low and competitive prices. PopCultureZone.com ships all over the US, and if you are buying raw comics, they offer flat rate shipping of only $4.99. That's right, $4.99. Absolute craziness, right? And there's no taxes included, excluding New Jersey. Pop Culture Zone is also on eBay, where they hold a 100% positive feedback rating with over 8,000 completed transactions for this year alone. Make sure to check out the link to their website below, as well as their eBay link, so be sure to give them a follow there as well.